What's up, everyone? It's CTD from C2 Wrestling. Before we get into today's video, I got to give you guys a heads up. January 6th, the Netflix debut of Monday Night Raw. We are going live again right here on our YouTube channel. We went live for the last two PLEs. It was such a fun time, a lot of funny moments. You don't want to miss it. This show is going to be huge. They're treating it like a WrestleMania level Raw. We're going live. Come talk wrestling with us. Enjoy the show, the surprises, the big moments. We'll be live for it. Come hang out with us right here on C2 Wrestling. But now, let's get into the video.
What is up, C2 Wrestling fans? You got your boys back again today with a little bit of a different video. We've been doing our weekly reviews, we've been doing our podcast, but we've been coming out with a lot more original content lately. And this is another one of those videos. Today, we're going to go over some bold predictions we each have for the upcoming year of wrestling, the upcoming year, 2025 WWE. Bold predictions. It's as simple as that. What's some stuff that can happen, might happen? Maybe we want it to happen, but maybe it's a little bit more out there. It's not your typical, we're going to get this. This is a bold prediction, as we call it. So I got a couple ideas written down. I know you got a couple ideas written down. I'm sure we're going to come up with some things as we go throughout this video, but I want to start high. I just want to hear it from you. What's one of your bold predictions? Let's go right into
All
it.
right. Now, I will say some of these feel more bold
Correct.
when I write them compared to when you say them,
Mm-hmm.
because some of them feel like, yeah, that's definitely like a legit option, a legit possibility. This one, to me, is bold.
Okay.
Like this is a legit bold prediction. I predict in the year 2025, this is just 2025. In the year 2025, my bold prediction, neither Becky Lynch or Charlotte will hold a title.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that is bold considering they're like 45-time champions between the two of them.
And Charlotte, I like she has not had a non-title story like in like
Yeah.
years. She
In
comes
years.
back,
Yeah.
goes for the title, leaves, comes back, goes for the title. Like I know it's not the most craziest. I'm not predicting a jobber to win the WWE title,
Yeah.
but based on like statistically, that's bold.
That is bold. Yeah. I think Charlotte is likely to return. I think Charlotte having a Tiffany Stratton program is kind of written in the stars for, say, a WrestleMania 41. I don't think Charlotte wins the belt, though. I think that would be a mistake to put a strap on Charlotte again for a little while. So I think you give Charlotte that kind of, year long, one of the best women they have run. Let her be the one to beat for these up and coming women. And this is maybe a bold prediction off of your prediction, but I foresee Charlotte and Andrade being on screen together in the year 2025.
Mm.
I think that's a pairing that could help someone like Andrade, to be honest, who, all the respect in the world, Andrade learned a second language for this shit.
Yeah,
Andrade picked
yeah,
up English just to be able to cut promos, and he's good, man. He's solid. Usually it takes a lot of these, foreign superstars to figure it out for a little while. It's hard. There's a lot of Japanese superstars nowadays too, and it's hard to get the promo ability like we see with just the regular American superstars, things like that. Shinsuke Nakamura is somebody they've started using the promos with the subtitles on the Titantron. It's done great. But I think Andrade getting a mouthpiece can help propel Andrade to potentially world championship level runs. But it doesn't mean Charlotte gets the world championship, though.
yeah.
I think that for the year 2025, I don't think we need it.
Completely agree. So what? Now that we're underway, what's a bold prediction you got?
So, bold prediction I got, I just said Andrade might win the world title, but I don't know if that happens in the year 2025. But I do think somebody's going to win the world title in 2025. And call this bold. I think we see an Obafemi world title run in 2025.
Ooh.
I think Obafemi is the guy that you really have come out on top. He starts on top. I don't think he's the guy that debuts and, goes through the jobbers here and there, does the mid card run, a little stint here, and then gets his world title. I think Obafemi gets the Sheamus type booking where he's the champion within 100-something days of being on that main roster. I really think they have something special with a guy like Obafemi. And he's still green. He's still fresh, but man, he looks like he's been doing it forever. His promos, his in-ring ability, just his whole, I hate this word, but his aura, his entrance, everything. He really is the total package. If you need a new threat, if you need a new big guy, somebody to really be dominant in the year 2025, Obafemi is your guy.
I assume you're not including the NXT title here.
Not including the NXT title here. World
This
Heavyweight Championship, specific, to be specific.
that is bold because it's seeming that he has a good shot at winning the NXT championship. But we've seen fast tracks where,
Yep.
I mean, Balor got called up and he won the Universal title in like a month.
Yep.
He
Yeah,
got hurt right away, but
I don't think you can fast track every superstar. You got to kind of have some differences between people. But I do think if you're going to fast track anybody ever, Obafemi is really the guy to do that with.
so keeping it on the world title, I actually have two bold predictions that are kind of similar. One of them, they're both, I wouldn't say they're the craziest bold thing, but again, for when you kind of look at it and break it down, it is a pretty bold prediction. So the first one that I'll talk about is Gunther does not lose the world heavyweight title.
Okay.
And at first, you might say, I mean, this is the guy who held the title for forever. He's a dominant. That's not that bold. When you really think about it, he's already held the world title for what, 100 something days?
Yep.
You're talking adding 365 to that. At that point, he's like 100 days away from passing his IC title reign.
Yep.
You are talking 365 more days of this title run, putting him well into the 400s, low 500s for this title reign, which would be quite historic. It would break Punk's 434. It wouldn't crack Roman's 1,000 day reign, but that is pretty bold.
That is pretty bold, especially considering the crop of talent in WWE right now. It's hard to kind of put these titles on people for years, considering the others may not get the title run they deserve. It really is such a high crop of talent. If Gunther's going to hold that world title throughout the year, a lot of missed opportunities, perhaps, for other superstars. But if you're ever going to keep a title on somebody, again, a dominant champion, for those of you who don't know, those of you that are new to the channel, this is a Gunther Stan account. We say this all the time. Gunther is our boy. That's our guy right there. He could hold the WWE World Heavyweight Championship for the rest of time. I ain't going to be mad at it.
So the second one that I have, I'll kind of pair these two together. This is on the lighter side of the bold predictions.
Okay.
I got some more bold ones coming. But if Gunther isn't dropping the title, that means John Cena is not winning the world title, and John Cena does not get that number 17. And the reason why I'm putting it in this bold prediction section is because you look online and it feels like a foregone conclusion. People are like, Cena's getting 17. Cena's getting 17. I'm not buying it. I'm not fully sold that Cena gets number 17. And maybe it's bold, maybe it's not. I don't think John Cena wins a world title.
Like we do a lot here at C2. We agree on this one. This is also one of my bold predictions. John Cena does not hold any championships throughout his retirement run. I'm not sold on the 17th title. I would hate for him to win any other title than the 17th title. Him winning the IC title makes no sense. What is Cena going to do? Have a tag title run? No way. He's a U.S. champion in the past. That makes a little bit more sense than the IC title. But why are you going to have John Cena win a mid-card title in his final run? It does nothing for anybody. I'm not sold on him winning the 17th for the exact reason you said. People are acting as if it's foregone conclusion. Cena's winning the Rumble. He's beating Gunther at Mania, this, that, whatever it might be. I don't see it. I think Cena has always been the guy that, maybe back in the day he wasn't putting people over left and right. But I think he wants to see the talent rise. I think he's definitely hit that stage in his career where it's not about him anymore. And he wants to see the crop of talent that is under him do well, do better. He's already put some guys over like Theory, like Solo, things like that. I think this whole year run is really going to be just putting people over left and right. I do got to say, though, if we're putting a world title on Punk by chance, you got to run back Cena Punk for the world title at Money in the Bank. Cena doesn't have to win, but he'll have a title match here or there. I'm positive.
I've mentioned before on this channel that I see actually a decent amount of tag team matches to put Cena over. Maybe he does get a tag title run from it. I doubt it. But similar to how he was with LA Knight and Cody Rhodes, him being with someone else, putting them over that way without facing them, because there's plenty of faces like an LA Knight, like a Jey Uso, for instance, whatever, Sami Zayn, that you want to kind of get the rub from
Hmm.
Cena, but you don't want them to face. I think we're going to see, a fair share of on Monday Night Raw, the guy Cena's feuding with is teaming with someone that, Damian Priest is feuding with. And so it's Cena and Priest versus the two people they're feuding with. I could see that happening quite a bit.
Absolutely could too. I think Cena's going to have a great run. I think Cena's going to be wrestling a lot more than people expect, to be honest. I think not even just on TV, he's going to be doing house shows, live events, things like that. But don't be surprised at the sporadic Raw match for Cena. I really think he's going to make this run something special for the fans. It seems like he's cleared the slate of projects. It seems like he is WWE bound for the year. Peacemaker season 2 is filmed. I don't think he's got any movies on the horizon. He's already done a bunch throughout the last couple of years. Cena's really made a name for himself in Hollywood. I think he's put himself in a spot where he can take a year off from filming and whatnot to really put it all into his final WWE run. I'm looking so forward to it, man. I'm looking so forward to it. You
Uh,
can't see me.
we're days away from his return. Uh,
Days away.
I got a bold one for you.
Okay, let's hear it.
This is either my boldest or my second boldest one.
Okay.
Again, people, this is bold predictions. This is
Bold
not
predictions.
this is not like what we actually see happening.
Yeah.
Bold prediction. Tiffany Stratton fails the cash in, and she's the first woman to fail her cash in.
That
And
is really bold.
Nia is the reason, and they prolong even more. She goes fully face at that point, but she's chasing Nia, who's costed her the title. Maybe she cashes in mid-match and Nia breaks it up, something, or maybe, she cashes in on Nia and Nia gets DQ'd. So Tiffany technically wins, but doesn't win the title. I could see them prolonging the Tiffany face push and
Yeah.
having the first woman fail a cash in and it be someone to get the fans even more behind her as if they aren't already.
Yeah. I mean, I could definitely see the story there in having Tiffany fail the cash in. It kind of puts her on a higher level, actually, of people wanting her to win the belt more. People at the time of are going to absolutely hate her failing the cash in. That's going to go horrible in the internet wrestling community.
And they're gonna be posting like crazy for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
In Tiff
But
We Trust, the shirts, the signs, you name it. You got a
exactly.
star on your hands.
But that's exactly it. People are, not farsighted enough. People aren't looking forward enough to see what's to come. And don't get me wrong, thinking about the moment, I'm not crazy on Tiffany losing her cash in, but there is a story to be told there. We've talked about this off air plenty of times throughout the years. The Money in the Bank concept is one of the best concepts in wrestling. If Jericho's done any good in the world in wrestling, it's that he invented this concept. It's not something that I like to see people lose. The cash in concept, cash in on somebody when they're taking a nap, for all I care. You should be winning 99.9% of the cash in attempts. I think Tiffany is definitely set up to win her cash in, but there's a story there. I can't deny that there's potentially a story that could help propel her. Maybe this is a weird comparison, but Cody losing at 39 only made his win at 40 that much greater. Tiffany losing the cash in at the Rumble, but maybe entering the Rumble, winning the Rumble, facing Nia at Mania, whoever it may be, only puts her into the higher stratosphere.
Yeah, I'm not saying that every baby face has to lose their first opportunity to, kind
Yeah.
of build it up. But a lot of times, when done right, I don't want to poo-poo on them because I still have belief in them, but like TNA not putting the title on Joe Hendry right away to try to do the same thing hasn't sat as well with the fans. So to be fair, sometimes it does not work out that well. I do have another Money in the Bank one, but I want to hear your next one.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny that you mentioned Hendry because that actually I was thinking of Hendry actually, like and how it hasn't quite worked out there. Joe Hendry is somebody that's like, as much as I hate to say it, is kind of losing a little bit of steam with the way they've prolonged it. But Tiffany, I think, would only be propelled. But bold predictions. My first prediction was Obafemi winning the world title in 2025. It's another similar one because this is another world title win in 2025. If Obafemi's not going to win it, there's another guy that I think will, but it's all dependent on his timetable. When's this guy returning? I think Big Bronson Reed is a world champion by the end of 2025. And listen, if Gunther wasn't around, this might be a Bronson Reed stand account because I'm loving that tsunami. I think Bronson Reed is one of the best acts they got going right now. A world title run for Bronson Reed, man, put it on paper. That I think should happen.
I'm not going to say that him getting hurt was a good thing. By no means do I think that. There is a piece of me that kind of, in a weird way, compares it to when Cody got hurt so quickly after coming back. Bronson got all this momentum and gets injured, and he's the perfect character where the first day he comes back, he can just clear house and take out any main eventer, and he is smack dab right into a main event storyline.
Absolutely. Bronson Reed can return in 8 months and attack the world champion CM Punk, Gunther, whoever it is at the time. And there he is. He's right in the main event picture. And I think that's perfect for him. I think he's got such a build, such a look, such a just way about him right now. He reminds me a bit of like a Mark Henry world title run, where I think he's almost got like a Hall of Pain esque feel to him. Just the destruction he's caused over this tenure. I would love a Bronson Reed world title win.
I teased that I have another Money in the Bank bold
Mm-hmm.
prediction, and it's a winner. And
Okay.
maybe this isn't bold, but I think it's a bit bold because I think there's so many deserving winners. There's so many potential winners. Like just off the top of my head, I think of, the Jey Usos, the LA Knights, the Chad Gables. There's so many, Braun Breaker. There's so many names, but those aren't bold enough. Finn Balor, not bold enough.
Yeah.
Bold is we get that Dominic Mysterio Money in the Bank
I'm not mad at that. I'll tell you that. I think that
win.
would be great. My only like con to that is I think Dom is the person that should get a mid card title run before he's really put to that level. I think a Dom Intercontinental title run at some point would do wonders for him. I also had tossed around Money in the Bank to think of like bold predictions. Who can win the Money in the Bank this year? And I almost wrote down Jey Uso winning Money in the Bank. But as you said, it's not that bold. He's in that top percentile of guys that could win Money in the Bank this year.
Could
You
win the
look at
Rumble.
could win the Rumble, yeah. You look at guys like Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes. They're still young enough that they got enough time. They could win next year's Money in the Bank, 2026, 2027, whatever. For the year 2025, the Money in the Bank is in a strange spot where last year you had Drew win it, lose it immediately. So this year you got to expect whoever wins it is going to cash it in and win. Might have a little bit more of a run with it, whether it's a month or 9 months. It seems like whoever's going to win it is going to hold it for a bit. Who? Who else but Dom? Who?
Woo!
Who else but Dom? I think that's a great bold prediction. Dom is in an interesting spot where I wanted to stay as a heel for a little while. He's so good as a heel, but we said this in a recent video. He's getting cheers now. He's going to become a top babyface one day. He really is when he turns back face eventually going to be a top dog babyface. But I think a heel Dominic Money in the Bank win. Oh my God, the booze. That camera might shake from like it's in France or something. I think that would be great.
I've got two more. How many more do you have? You have one or
I
two?
have three more
All
technically.
right, let's hear it.
We did line up on the John Cena no championship one. That was one of mine. We lined up on that. This is bold in consideration again that we don't know the timetable if this guy's ever going to return. But I really think we see Big E in the Royal Rumble. I really think they're setting it up for the Big E return. And again, maybe I'm so wrong. Big E might never wrestle again. His health is way more important than wrestling. But they are really setting this up for Kofi and Woods to be in the Rumble, throw some guy over, getting hella boos from the crowd, and then Big E comes out. I can foresee it so easily.
I completely agree.
Mm-hmm.
And I figured you were going this route.
Okay. Yep.
So I went a different route that maybe is a little more bold.
Okay.
Because I do think we're getting Big E back. It
Yeah.
just, they've built so much sympathy for him. They keep harping on, you did that to Big E. Like they are harping
Yep.
on the fact that it was done to Big E, that it
Yep.
makes you believe, all right, he's
Kofi
coming
Kingston's
back.
mom doesn't even like him anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So my bold prediction is if he doesn't come back, or maybe he doesn't come back before WrestleMania.
Okay.
So the bold prediction is the heel New Day do have a match at WrestleMania.
Okay.
And their match, it's got to make sense. It's got to be against people that they have history with, people who respect Big E, people who respect the New Day, or at least did. Years ago, I mean, this is one of the greatest tag team feuds, but the heels and faces were flipped. The bold prediction is if there is no Big E return at WrestleMania, it is the New Day versus the Usos.
That was coming. Yep. New Day versus the Usos. I mean, listen, they put on a tag team Hell in a Cell classic. They've put on some absolute bangers in the past. I will never turn down an Usos New Day match. I could definitely see that. A face Usos taking on the heel New Day at WrestleMania. I like that. I really do. You know, all things considered, the Big E return would be fantastic, but I can't harp on that considering his injury. You know, you really can't ever consider the fact that he might come back. They're really pushing it. You gotta think they have something in mind. But if he's not going to, the New Day heel versus the face Usos, I think that's great.
I could even see if they don't put the Usos back together and Big E does come back, I could see a Big E and Jay
Mm-hmm.
versus the New Day, which
Yeah.
like Jay is so big now and like he's gonna have a prominent Mania match. Jimmy's obviously big as well, and Jimmy will be in something relevant. He will be in something good. But if they want to continue to keep them as single stars, I know this would be a tag team match, but he's not in the Usos as a tag team. I could see a Big E and Jay team like teaming to face the New Day.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a couple different scenarios there. They clearly have something planned with this heel New Day. You know, this is not the team you turn heel just to make a team heel and have for heels on Raw or SmackDown, whatever it may be. There's something in mind. They have a plan for heel Woods and heel Kofi, and it's been great. I do got to say, I mean, they're really kind of setting up Rey Mysterio to be saved by Pentagon in a couple of weeks. But
Yeah, yeah, you're not lying.
yeah, we'll see where they go with that. But heel New Day, face Usos, bad guys, good guys. When we're talking about faces and we're talking about heels, I think there might be a heel turning coming for 2025, and it might be the American Nightmare. I
Ooh.
think a Cody Rhodes heel turn in 2025 is a massive change of pace for the WWE for what's to come. They are finishing up, it seems. You know, we still got maybe months of this, maybe even a year, but like the bloodline story, Cody, The Rock, Roman, this triangle, whatever it is, it seems like we are in, maybe not the bottom of the third anymore, but we're in like the top of the sixth. We're kind of getting there, it
Maybe
seems.
even the seventh inning
Yeah,
stretch.
it might even be the seventh inning stretch. Exactly. So, what's after this? How do you keep people tuned in? There needs to be a new face coming up to challenge the ultra heel Cody Rhodes. Shit, Cody Rhodes might be a better heel than he is a face, and I don't think we've gotten that side of him yet. Put it on paper, 2025, Cody Rhodes heel turn.
There's rumors that Cody's going to face Cena.
Yeah,
It's not, I'm not saying that would be where he turns. You could very well have, I don't think Cody's going to turn, but this is the bold predictions.
yep,
This is not like we're betting on these things. It is something where there is plenty of life to it. I mean, you're talking multiple years of stories when Cody turns heel compared to being face. my not counter to it, but meeting him in person, it was one of those where you meet him and you're like, if this guy never turns, I'd be happy. After having
Yeah,
this experience, like this guy really is like Cena. Like he
yeah,
he is this generation Cena. But that's what makes this a bold prediction because every year, if we had the channel 10 years ago, every year we would have been bold predicting that Cena's turning heel this
yeah,
year.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it fits perfect.
I do agree. I would never be upset if Cody Rhodes stayed face his entire tenure. He's fantastic as is. Turning him heel is exactly what this video is. It's bold. That is a bold thing for not even us for to predict, for WWE to do. But to tail this into my final bold prediction, if you're going to turn Cody heel, how do you do it? And there's many avenues, I'm sure, but I think there's one way to do it. Maybe this is long-term storytelling, but it does involve him losing that WWE championship. And I think it's to none other than The Rock. Maybe that's not super bold. Maybe the Rock Cody match on paper is happening. That's predictable to a point. But I don't know if people are really saying The Rock wins the championship. I haven't seen that a lot. I think that's kind of bold to predict that this guy that's only wrestled one match in 10 years is going to come back to wrestle his second, win the WWE championship.
When it comes to The Rock, nothing's off the table for me. Like
Nothing's
it's
off the table.
him winning the WWE championship would not surprise me in the slightest. Like I don't expect it, but it's something where I'm like, if it happens, I'm not shocked. I just
Yeah,
don't expect it to happen.
agree.
But that could be the perfect story. Hell, that could lead to the Rock Roman match for the title, and
Yeah.
then you have maybe a baby face Roman against a heel Cody Rhodes. Like there's plenty of avenues.
And that, spinning off of everything we've said, a heel Cody versus face Roman for their trilogy. Come on. Come on. How do you not book that in a way? If you have the opportunity to turn Cody heel, if Roman's as over as a face as he is, that's a hell of a way to end that trilogy, is to flip the face and heel side of things. There's a lot of things that can happen. These are bold predictions. It's a little bit out there in comparison to maybe some other things, but that's what keeps us on our toes. Wrestling, anything can happen. You hope for some of these things to happen because you want that wow moment on TV. And I think we're going to get a few of those. Wrestling's been better than ever. These might be bold predictions. Would not be surprised if some of them come true.
I've got one last bold prediction,
Okay.
and timetable wise, this feels bold. Logic wise, it doesn't feel far fetched at all. It's another WrestleMania match.
Okay.
We have talked about, in fantasy booked all these guys. Well, if this guy faces this guy, who does he face? If this guy faces this guy, who does he face? You name it. One guy that's kind of been an odd man out on a lot of it has been Solo Sikoa.
Yep.
And the belief has been if he beats Roman on Raw in the Netflix debut, then you could see the rematch one on one happening at Mania, and that's where Roman officially goes over. Whatever. But I could also see a route where he loses and he goes down that downward spiral. And I think on that downward spiral, you get a split up of the Bloodline 2.0. And the WrestleMania match is Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu.
I would not hate it at all. I think the timetables maybe a little short for that. I think that's a little bit more of a long-term story to tell, the Fatu maybe face turn, we'll call it, and him facing Solo. And there's something to build up there. And it's almost not even the match, if we're being honest. I love you, Solo. That initial in-ring moment when Solo's in there, and maybe he's spent a month, 2, 3, 4, 5 months kind of tormenting his new bloodline. That first moment when Fatu's standing there and he looks up, I hate you, Solo. That's gonna be electric. It very much
Yep.
gives me vibes of Batista back in the day. What a moment that has been played over time. I think that I hate you Solo moment is really going to be something special. And that only leads into exactly what you said, Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu.
It's bold. All these were pretty bold. Some not as bold as others, but those are bold predictions. I'm wondering what the people's bold predictions are.
Absolutely, me too. Let me hear them. Let's see them in the comments this time around. Let us know some bold predictions for the year 2025. Let us know if you agree with our bold predictions, if you want to see them happen. And I'll tell you what, one more bold prediction: C2 Wrestling is skyrocketing in the year 2025. We got a lot of content coming your ways: live streams, reviews, reactions, who knows what. January 6th coming up. Be sure to tune in to C2 Wrestling. We will be here live watching, reviewing, talking shop with the fans as always. Follow us on all the social media. Snowden, CTD.
CTD. That's not a bold prediction. We will
That's a
be live.
fact.
That's a spoiler.
We're ending it there. See you next time.